This is Carl at National RV Detroit, and I'm going to walk you through this 2021 Catalina Legacy Edition, model 343 BHTS. Alright, so here we are on the door side of the trailer, moving towards the rear. First thing to know is you've got regular scissor type stabilizers, so you use the crank that comes with the trailer or a 3/4 inch socket on a drill. Second, this is a quick connect LP fitting right here, you see. It also has a valve on it, so make sure you turn that on. The reason you have that is because you have to plug in your griddle using an LP line, which I believe is in this drawer here. Yes, so right here you see that. You got a quick connect on one side and a male on the other. So you use that to connect your griddle. Okay. So you also have a refrigerator. It's 110 AC. There's no switch for it, so as soon as you plug in the trailer, it turns on. Now, let me see here. Let me look around the back. Okay, you got a carrier. We'll go over that in a minute. Okay, these two lines down here are your low point drains. Those have to do with winterizing and de-winterizing the trailer. Okay. Also, you have a power awning with LED light strip, outside speakers. This is antenna out and power, so you can hang a TV there or set a TV there, I should say. This, of course, is your water heater. It works on either gas or electric. Never run the water heater without water in the water heater tank. That's very important. Also, you can see there's a switch here in the lower left-hand corner. It's a rocker switch. It's off right now. That controls the electric heating element that's behind that cover there. So there are switches inside the trailer to operate this, but this one you have to know that it's there. It's to turn on the electric heating element, so that's important, okay? The rest of and of course this is your drain plug here with an anode rod attached to the back of it. Okay, so let me see here. I have to do this one hand, and my fingers are too fat. I'll just leave it open for now. I don't want to set the camera down. Okay, so another thing I wanted to show you while we're here, if you notice there's a hole here. There's actually 3 of them on this side. If you go look through that hole, I don't know if you can, but there's a shaft there with a pin going through it. There's also one back here, right? And then there's one at the front. So basically those allow you to crank the slide out in case it fails. You could actually crank all 3 of the slide outs in and out. It takes a long time, but if it fails, you know, they rarely do, but if it does fail, you'll be able to crank it in to get yourself out of trouble when you're camping. It beats driving home with the slide out anyway. So here's your crank here. This crank is for the power tongue jack. That also could be cranked manually. So if you need to, you can take this cap off, put that crank on there, and you can crank it manually also. Alright. Let's see what we have. The stairs obviously fold inside the trailer. If you have to adjust the length of the legs, you just pull the pin, there's one on each side, and slide it up and down so you get it to the length you need it. Alright. So you got a power tongue jack, of course. You have 2 30-pound LP tanks with an automatic changeover regulator. Deep cycle marine battery. This is the kill switch for the battery. The reason you would want to use that kill switch is because there's phantom power in it. Let's put it this way, your LP and carbon monoxide detectors are hardwired to the battery, so even if you shut all the lights off, you're still going to draw power. So when you put this into storage, you can just shut the battery off so it does not draw down as quickly in storage. But when you're not in storage, always leave it on. Okay, so you got your hose, your dump hose here. You have an adapter to adapt this down from 30 to 15/20. Let me walk down here for a minute. Well, right here, keep in mind this is your fresh water fill. Now the most common way to get water to the trailer is through the city water connection. You just hook it up and you're ready to go. But if you don't have plumbing on the campsite, you can pre-fill this tank, and there's an onboard electric pump that'll pump the water. So if you fill the tank and use the pump, all the plumbing in the trailer will work just like you have city water. Also, there's a drain for that down here. I don't know if you can see it, but you drain this tank down right below there. And that's just cable and satellite through to the entertainment area. Okay, so here we go. This is your power cord. It's 50 amp and 30 feet long. You have a reducer right here to reduce it down to a 30 amp, and I just showed you the reducer inside the front compartment to reduce it down even more. So you can pretty much plug it in no matter where you're at. Just remember, the air conditioners draw they draw almost 30 amps, so keep that in mind. You will pop a circuit breaker if you're using just a 15 or 20 amp system. Okay, this is, let's see here, this is the city water right here. We just talked about that. This is the most common way to get water to the trailer. Okay, this is your black tank flush. So what happens when you dump your tanks down here, you see there's the black tank valve. Black tank is toilet water waste. The gray is sink and shower water over here. So you dump the black first, because this is the dirtiest water. Then you dump the gray to wash it out. Okay. There's also a second gray tank back there, for example, so keep that in mind. That's for the, I would imagine, for the sink on the other side of the trailer. So once you've dumped this, you leave the black tank valve open. Then you can hook the hose at the dump station onto here, turn it on and flush it out. It just sprays the inside of the tank, cleans off the sensors, that sort of thing. So it's a really good thing to do. If there's a hose at the dump station that's usable, do it, because it'll give you much cleaner black tank, and it'll keep the sensors more accurate also. Also, this is just an outside shower for kids and feet and dogs and bicycles or whatever you want to hose down. Okay. Remember, as I told you, you can crank all three of these slide outs out independently and in independently. If you just use a little ingenuity and a little willpower, and you'll get yourself out of the trouble. Like I said, they're super reliable these days, but it is a machine, so things can go wrong. All right, so obviously your rack folds down. This housing up here tells us it's pre-wired for a backup camera. We sell them here. You can basically, what you do once you have it installed, when you turn on your running lights, it lights up so you can see when you're backing up or when you're going down the road. Okay. Also, while we're looking up, you need to inspect the roof of the trailer every 90 days or so. The manufacturer says 90 days, so you figure once in the spring, once in the middle of the summer, once in the fall. You or somebody else needs to go up on the roof, look at all the sealant, make sure there's no cracking or separation anywhere, any way for water to get in. Make sure that road debris or a low branch didn't damage your roofing material or your vent covers. Just give it a good inspection. Odds are you won't have to do anything for years, but that's why you're inspecting it, just to make sure everything's in good shape. Okay, and one last thing. This is the vent for the range hood right there. Now keep in mind, if you can see at the bottom, maybe there's two little latches, and there's a baffle inside. When you're venting using the fan, you want to have that open so it flaps freely. Otherwise, when you're traveling or in storage, whatever, you keep that latch shut. So if you're going to vent to the outside, you want to have it open. All right, so here we go. So right when we come in the door to the left is your control panel. I told you the water heater. I showed you how to light it on electric in the lower left-hand corner. This is to light it on gas. This is your water pump, of course, your lights, your awning light. Oh, it's got multi-colors. That's neat. I imagine there's a way you can choose the color you want. There's probably a remote in here somewhere. We'll find it. But also with your power awning, let me come back in here. This is the switch for your power awning. So when you extend it, obviously retract it. The most important thing to know is you never leave it out unattended. If you're not going to be at the campsite, roll it in so the wind doesn't get a hold of it and do damage to it. Okay, you got two slide outs here. This slide out switch, and then the slide out for the bedroom slide out. Now there's also another one in the back, another switch I'll show you when we get back there. But you're just going to basically hold your finger on the button till when it gets all the way, it'll start ratcheting a little bit. That's what it's supposed to do. It keeps it from overextending or over retracting. So as soon as you hear that noise, you just take your finger off when you're going in and out. Occasionally you won't hear it at all, but it almost always ratchets. Okay. Freshwater tank is empty. Your battery is charged. Black tank 1. You don't have black tank 2, so you just one black tank 1, and the gray tank 1 and 2. They're all empty. They graduate up in 1/3 increments as they fill. Once you get past 2/3, you got to start thinking about dumping the black and gray tanks. Okay. While we're standing here, this is a carbon monoxide LP gas detector right there. It should always be green. There is a test button on it if you want to once a year push it to make sure it's working okay. But as long as the LED on it is green, you're in good shape. If it's not, you want to get it serviced. Okay. If that thing goes off, obviously you take your family outside, leave the door open, shut the gas off at the front, and then figure out what's going on. Alright, so here we go inside farther. This is your fireplace. It's also a space heater. I'm going to look around and see if I can find the remotes. There they are back there. Okay, so let's see what we have here. This must be for your, I bet that's for your awning lights. I've never seen one of these, but it seems to have seems to have all the colors you need. Let's see, this would be the fireplace, I think. Let's try it out. Oh yeah, I can see the, yeah, so this is your fireplace. So you can set, if you look down here, it's got, this is the fan speed, off, low, and high. So that's the fan speed. You also have a thermostat in here. You can change the appearance of the fire. So you can make it dimmer or darker. You can also change the colors. Boy, lots of colors in this trailer. Okay, and it also has a timer on it, so you can set it to turn on or turn off when you want it to. For example, if you're going to get up at 6 o'clock, you could set it to come on at 5:45, so it would take the chill out of this room. Okay, so that's a good thing. I'm just going to shut it off right now. Okay, so you have a remote for that. The second remote, or third remote, is for your TV. Now the TV is a radio. Here, I'll just show you because I'm not going to actually turn it on right now. You got 2 speaker zones inside and outside the trailer. You got FM radio, which I think, yeah, just FM, no AM. Bluetooth, so you can hook up wirelessly. HDMI, and you got USB. So you've pretty much got everything you need. But the radio is actually built into the TV set. Okay. All right. So let's see what's next. Microwave works like any other microwave. This is the range hood right here. Remember I told you about opening the baffle in the vent that's on the outside if you want to vent to the outside. Always keep your glass cover closed when you're traveling so it doesn't break. Now this is the sparker for the oven and the range top. So you just turn it clockwise to spark it, that's all. So you're just going to turn your knob to the light position, light it like so, turn the next one, light it like so, right? Now the oven is a little bit different. Down at the bottom here, all the way to the back, is a pilot light. Let's see if we can see it by sparking it. Sometimes we can luck out. Yeah. So you can see the sparking. So what you do is you come up here, the knob all the way to the right is the awning of the oven knob. Go to the picture of the pilot light, depress it, and hold it. You keep holding it through this whole process. So with the other hand, you spark this, turning it clockwise until the flame lights, the pilot light lights. Once it lights, you still hold this in for another 10 seconds or so to heat it up. Then you go to operating temperature. It cycles like an oven does. But when you shut it off, the flame goes out obviously, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Okay. Alrighty. So your refrigerator is a 12-volt compressor refrigerator. So it runs off, when you're plugged in, it runs off a power converter right here. And when you're traveling, it'll pull off the battery, and then your tow vehicle alternator will be charging the battery. So it's all 12 volt. I mentioned the power converter, which is right here. This device converts AC to DC power. So you've got 110 AC over here, regular circuit breakers like you would see at home, and they're all labeled. Then you have 12 volt fuses. They're all labeled right here. So it's converted your 110 AC power down to 12 volt DC over here. And everything that can run on 12 volts DC in this trailer does. Some things have to be AC power, like the air conditioner or the microwave, things like that. But all these other things run on 12 volts. So basically, if any of these fuses were to blow, they'll light up, and you can actually see them through this tinted plastic here. Also, when you're plugged in, it's a battery tender. It'll sense how much energy your battery needs up front, or has up front, and if it's low, it'll send 10 amps or whatever it needs. If it's almost totally charged, it'll just trickle a couple up there. So it also keeps your battery charged. Okay. Your thermostat is just an analog thermostat. It's very self-evident. Try to always keep the fan on auto. Heats all the way to the right. Off, then fan. Fan is the air conditioner running without the compressor. So it just circulates air basically. If you go one more click, that's cool. That's the entire air conditioning running with the compressor, right? So make sure you have to set your thermostat over to change from hot to cool, which it's evident. It's pretty obvious, but you would be surprised how many people forget. But if you can, try to always run the fan on auto. That's the best way to go. All right. So the sink and shower, there's nothing unique about them. They work like any other sink and shower. Always remember to run the fan with the shower to pull the humidity out, so you don't create a climate of where you could grow mold or mildew. Now, if you don't know RV toilets, basically right below here, we don't have any water hooked up right now, so here's the flush pedal right up in the front here. Well, that's just residual pressure, but it gives you an idea of how it works. So basically, when you, the black tank is directly below, right? So when you first get to the campground, you hook up your power and your water, then you're going to come in here and you're going to get your chemical, right? And basically, you're going to just step on the pedal and water's going to come swirling around, and you put about a gallon or so of water in the tank below, and then the chemical, and you're all set. It doesn't have to be exactly a gallon. Just put some water in there. You can't use it dry because the smell will be pretty extreme, and plus it can get clogged up also. So you always have to have some water and the chemical in it before you start using it. Now, if you were gonna, let's say you're gonna stay at the same campsite for another week, but you had to dump the black tank, you just come in here and repeat the procedure after you dump the tank, because it's empty. Step on the pedal, put about a gallon or so of water in there, put the chemical in, and you're all set. All right? Okay. So, moving right along here, let's see what else we got. Okay. This is the slide out switch for this one over here, your bunk room slide. Obviously, this is self-evident too. You can sit on this. It's like a couch. If you choose to, you can spin them around. You can fold them, out. There's a lot of things you can do with them. Plus, you got this bunk here that folds down, and the bunk up there, obviously. And then your TV and entertainment stuff would go here. You got some hookups up here, I'm sure. Yeah, you got your video output and power. So, okay. That's all. Everything else is pretty self-evident what it is, also pretty obvious. Okay, so let's move forward. Obviously, this table, you can pull the poles out, set the tabletop on these cleats down here. Use the cushions to fill in the space. You got a bed. This is also a bed. Let's see what it is here. It's a jackknife. So this will jackknife flat and turn into another bed. All right, you go up here to the front, and you got a really nice size bedroom for a trailer. So you got obviously a wardrobe in here and storage, that sort of thing. Your bed does pull up, and there's some storage underneath it. Okay. Now this because it's a 50 amp system, this room right here, this vent here, it is where the second air conditioner would go if you wanted to add one. It fits right in here. And it says on this sticker, I haven't read it, but I can guarantee it says that it's pre-wired for a second air conditioner. Also, right here, this sticker's telling us that there are wires behind here for a thermostat. So you can do it two ways with this one. You could drop in an air conditioner with a ceiling assembly that has the controls on it, or you can buy one that has a remote thermostat. But it is, like I said, it's 50 amps, so it's pre-wired for a second one if you want to do it. They've been doing that because a lot of people will go down in south or the southwest, and in the dead of summer, they just don't quite get cool enough. But every place else they're at, it's just fine, you know. So before, people would have to buy a special trailer with special 50 amp and all that. But here they've been sending them pre-wired for 50, and then you can just expand on it if you need to. All right. And of course, this is a storage and or a washer dryer. It's pre-plumbed and pre-wired for a washer and a dryer if you need one. Otherwise, you can use it for storage. You could even put a clothes bar, or which word I'm looking for. I guess a bar, yeah, and you can hang your stuff on it. Okay. So I think that about covers it. I'm looking around here. Of course, you have TV in here also. That's your signal and your power. And I'm sure there's a backer plate here. If not, you could just set it right here and then stow it when you're not using it. Maybe it might fit under here. Good. Okay. All right. So. Okay. Well, first I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. And second of all, I want to remind you again about checking the seals on your trailer and inspecting it. That's very important. That's every trailer ever made. You're supposed to do that too, but not everybody does it. So you want to protect your investment. And like I said, odds are you won't have to do anything when you inspect it, but that's why you're inspecting it, to make sure. So make sure you take care of that. And right now this trailer is de-winterized. It's ready to be camped in. So you know that. Of course, in the winter you need to winterize it. In the fall you need to winterize it. And there are things you need to know about bypassing the water heater and that sort of thing. But the information's out there to find out, or you can have it done if you don't already know. You may know everything I've already told you. So I don't know that. So just remember, you have to winterize it. Never start the water heater without water in the tank, and make sure you inspect your seals. Okay? Thank you very much.